Thank you so much, Jamil Saab, and for your remarks. And you discussed rightly, because we don't have to definitely rely only on China in terms of economic development, infrastructure development, or any other thing. We have to work definitely on that as well. And definitely this friendship is based on mutual consent, mutual cooperation between Pakistan and China, either in agricultural field, economic field, commercial ties, or whatever. So definitely these are the, I think these are the points which we, not only students but our policymakers, have to show concern on this as well, because we can clap by using two hands. If you cannot use two hands, you will not be able to clap. So definitely China is doing, Pakistan is also trying to do its best, but as far as economic prosperity is concerned, we do not always ask for concessions or loans from China, because I think, as we said, and Dr. Mahmood Hassan Saab also said, that we have to increase our exports. We have to create other avenues. We have to export more products to China and to other neighboring countries as well. So thank you so much, Dr. Tahir Mumtaz Awan Saab, for joining us. And now I'll be moving towards our moderator for the panelists, Sayyid Shamsul Hassan. So Shamsul Hassan Saab is waiting, I think. So over to you, Shamsul Hassan Saab.
Thank you, Tanoli Saab, for giving me the floor. It was a joy listening to the first two speakers of today's session, Dr. Mahmood Hassan and of course Dr. Tahir Mumtaz Awan. He joined us on this session, and there were a lot of learning points from both of the speakers. But one thing that was constantly or consistent in both the speakers was that we have to uplift ourselves, and then we would be able to negotiate with our partners, and then we could kind of establish mutual relationships based on equality. I think that's very important, and we have also to follow the global best practices, like Mahmood Khan Saab mentioned in his talk, that China at one time had to learn from their neighbors. They learned from even Japan, Korea, while they were establishing their railways and the fast trains that we have in China. And they even had to learn from the Western countries. And it's a documented fact that even they had to learn from Pakistan in 70s and 60s and 70s and late 80s. So we have that examples, and there is no harm that if we can learn from the global best practices, and if we can learn from China in particular. Like in the opening remarks, Musawwir Tanoli Saab mentioned that we are not having perhaps very good relationship with Afghanistan and Iran. That's, I mean, we have to introspect, and we have to see where are the problems and what are the reasons. Like if China can trade with India, and India can trade with China, being neighbors, maybe they are not aligned politically, but still there is a huge amount of trade between both countries. So why can't we trade with all our neighbors? So that is the thought, and I'll move to the panelist, the speakers we are having today. Ms. Hina Habib, Khizr Zaman, Azim Khan is also listening, and I can see him. I think Zamir Asadi is not in picture, but we'll move to the first speaker. I'll give the floor. Ms. Hina Habib is with us, so I'll give the floor to Ms. Hina Habib. Over to you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Um, Thank you, Azim Saab, and thank you, Musawwir, for organizing this. This is the last day of our such initiative, but yes, we should continue this. It was very informative, and it has something that can revive the energy in the present research circle and the people like me. So I'm very thankful to you for giving me this opportunity. So right now we are just closing this, but I hope that we should be able to continue such initiatives in the future. So let's start with the recommendations, the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2030 Agenda, and what are Pakistan's achievements, what is the achievement of this region and the other countries in the world. So what we can learn, as we know that we cannot achieve any goal without the cooperation among the countries in the region or the cities in the region. So contribution of the different sectors and different countries in the achievement of sustainable development goal is very important. So most people in the world, they want to change themselves, they want to achieve something in and they want to, for example, they want to urbanize. So 70% of the world population, they want to urbanize by 2050, but how can they achieve such thing? So they need to cooperate the organizations like international organizations, they are playing their role. So what Pakistan has achieved in this, Pakistan after 2030 UN the 2030 agenda, Pakistan became the first country to adopt the SDG in its development goals. And what Pakistan did, that Pakistan brought that thing into National Assembly, and the resolution was passed, and Pakistan became the first to establish SDG unit, the Sustainable Development Goal unit. So they have that made that thing, but when it comes to achieving the goals like the peace and security, governance issues, and economic growth, and rule of law, social development, gender equality, women empowerment, sustainable low-cost energy thing, and disaster response and preparedness to avoid the disasters in the future, there is something that we are unable to achieve those goals. Broadly speaking, there is a disparity when we saw the reports of sustainable development of the local institutions or local bodies, the government institutions, and the reports shared by the international institutions. So why it is so? I want the senior members and the speakers to address this issue, or why this disparity exists. So Pakistan, according to international development goals, attaining zero poverty, there are significant challenges. They are still there. So, and good health and well-being, significant challenges we are facing in this. And similarly, we're facing challenges in the industry, innovation, and achievement of reducing the inequalities in the society as well. Sustainable development indicators like production and consumption, they are showing progress, but some challenges remains in the partnership, in building partnership with to achieve sustainable development, the partnership within the country, partnership within this region, and partnership with the international institutions as well. So because that can translate the thing into reality. So those partnership, regional partnerships like CPEC, that is very important. And how can we utilize that partnership fully and exploit that partnership fully? Where we lack, where is the problem within ourselves? We need to evaluate that. So Pakistan has shown achievement, some sort of achievement, and achieve sustainability in the climate action plans, and that because of the low carbon thing. Most of the South Asian countries, they're also facing problems in hunger and water, sanitation, energy, innovation. So we can say that this is not our own only Pakistan's problem. It's a regional problem, and regional problem definitely can be addressed by a regional coordination. But when it comes to coordinations and the platforms like SARC and other, they failed, and we need to exploit that, and we need to translate those platforms into reality, and we can only achieve that thing after addressing the conflicting issues. Because if you want to achieve progress, that progress cannot be aligned only to a one particular country. It's a regional issue, is an international issue, so there's a coordination required by the different countries. But we don't have that coordination at the moment, because we cannot channelize the things into realities, and turning the potential, and cannot identify the common grounds among different countries in the region. So common grounds needs to be evaluated and needs to be translate and transform, and how can we avoid conflicting issues, and can we put certain conflicting issues into a shelf and look into the reality that Pakistan, countries like India and other regional countries, Afghanistan, they're facing challenges, and those challenges have something in common, and that something in common, we can move onward on common issues first, and rest the conflicting issues put aside, and we can move ahead. But how we can move ahead, that's something definitely a different issue, and that has some interests like policy and planning, and some other egoistic issues, I think. So there was a planning ministry meeting in the SAARC region, and that has suggested that we should voice on debt relief, on availability of consensual financing together. So after the COVID-19 issue, they made such meeting, and after that meeting, they said that we can work on this issue together. Cooperation among regional countries is required, and as a region we can cooperate on bring regional harmony, and living in harmony with each other, living in harmony with the nature, and the countries like Maldives, Bhutan, and China, we can learn from their experience, because Maldives and Bhutan, according to indicators, they achieve peace just in a sense something. But so the issue is that we can learn from certain case studies, and exchange of knowledge within the region is very important. Exchange and collaboration among the regional countries is very important. Like we all have mentioned, and throughout this experience and throughout this journey of ours in this platform, we've been discussing that China has achieved sustainable development goals, and a remarkable achievement, as we have mentioned earlier, that 700 million people, they moved out of poverty, and economic boom was witnessed there. So important measures they have took, they were taken by China, improve of so use of government resources better, and social protection they have given to the society, better facilitation to the young generation and income generation. How can they generate their income? How they've reached their export miles, and how they achieved the overcome the health issues. So mortality issues, mortality, maternal mortality or health issues. So the issues, negative issues have declined in China. The targets they achieved in sustainable development goals ahead of time. This is very good. So what they did yesterday, I also mentioned that urban and rural problems they have, they made planning separately for the urban and rural areas. So different regions in terms of infrastructure and internet, and can we learn from their experience, and can we expand on such issues, social security nets, and improve universal and public health issues. So China has adopted certain measures like implemented integrated development strategies. So they said that cross-sector coordination, different sectors, there was a coordination witness in different sectors, and they made all the sectors working together. And we are unable to make our inter-provincial, we are unable to bring inter-provincial harmony. So they're bringing their sectors and their provinces together, their areas together. So they made the pilot exercises like the one I mentioned, we are mentioning throughout this experience, that the things like Shenzhen and other. So they made the 2030 to achieve 2030 agenda. So they integrated those agendas into a 5-year plan and then implemented according to that plan. So how can we make achievement according to our plan? That is our issue, because if government changes, there is a lack of coordination. If one government changes and another government comes that abolish the working and plans of the other government, despite the fact we don't government don't realize that whether it was beneficial for the country or not, but some egoistic issues, because one political party is taking that issue, and why can't we should take that issue along with us. This is the main issue. So we should avoid that. China-Pakistan corridor, as we've been discussing, and we know that it is a ray of hope for both within this region and for Pakistan. But it's a multi-dimensional investment project, and interest-free loans and the different opportunities offering by this project. But we think there is a lot of criticism on different grounds, and one thing I think domestic level criticism is lack of information. This is the platform. Through this platform, we can bring people together. Just to bring back the information on investment, on opportunities offering by this project, we can bring the confidence of the investors back. So the issue of non-availability of data, and just I mentioned yesterday also, the statistical analysis and availability of data is an issue not only in Pakistan, but it's a big issue in Afghanistan as well, because certain issues and certain things cannot be addressed when we don't address those issues as a regional level. So regional cooperation, Pakistan progress is not, we cannot achieve it alone. Definitely, we need a regional agenda, and we need a regional policy to address those issues and avoiding the conflicting issues. So how can we made progress on this? Local capacities and strengthening to our institution is very important. We can bring the mobilization, community mobilization, and mobilization of our youth is very important, and youth within the region, as Musawwir and their other fellows, they're working very good as they are working to mobilize the youth within the region. So such platforms should be enhanced, alliances should be made for this. For example, if one person, if me or anyone else, if they take initiative, so those initiatives are very important, and definitely we can we should encourage such initiatives, and we should encourage such people who take initiative. So building partnerships and mobilizing youth, and how can we mobilize our youth to bring innovative source of finance. This is important. Coordination and collaboration between government and private sector is very important. And as I mentioned, I believe that interprofessional collaboration and harmony is very important. How can we address the core conflicting issues within the provinces? For example, why there is the issue of confidence between Balochistan and Punjab? Why there is an issue between Sindh and any other province? So we need to address this, and federal government should play its due role to address this issue. And secondly, legislation and implementation. We, as I said, that we made certain units on to achieve certain goals, but when it's come to the legislation and implementation, we do make legislation also, but it is the implementation of certain legislations according to, in compliance with international rules and law. We feel here, so we need to address this issue? How can we bring balance in trade, as we have discussing that export-oriented economy? We need to achieve that, and how can we have that quality education? I think that can help us in achieving certain goals, in moving towards like export based economy. That is very important. But yesterday I mentioned that if we give export quality education and skill education, then there is a problem of brain drain here. How can we bring the confidence of our youth back into our own country, and how can we tell them that please stay here? Their income is low, but slowly and gradually we can move towards certain goals, and it can bring the confidence back in the society. So turning failures into realities, or challenges into opportunities, turning failures and challenges into opportunities is very important. We witnessed the challenge of COVID-19. We were witnessed just recently the flood, the climate problem. We face that, but how can we make such things, such challenges into opportunities, and learning from those opportunities to avoid a setback in the future is very important. Pakistani youth, as we know, is full of potential, but problem is that how can we transform that potential into a very good working force is our challenge. Channelizing the talent according to potential is second important issue, because underemployment is something that is associated with this issue. And yesterday I said mainstreaming of female is very important. Female population is really very important, and I think that like Tahir Sahib mentioned, that individual role as an individual, we can play role into it. So I think mainstreaming of females starts with our own home. How can we support each other in bringing something good to our society? We need to look into that. And regional cooperation, how many I was talking about it. And as when it comes to region, I think the problem is with the hegemonic designs, lies with the hegemonic designs. So we need to stop such things, bringing back the regional harmony. And as I mentioned earlier, the SAARC and Shanghai Cooperation and such platform, their regional organizations platform, they can play their role. And I think we can achieve something after bringing the confidence back in such institutions or such things. And can we do it by shelving the conflicting issues on, but is it possible or is it not possible? It's something that is a different story. But I think the crisis is very deep now. The economic and financial crisis in the region is very deep now, and it requires something that is not individual effort. It's the regional effort which is required, and we lack in this. And I'll definitely say that regional security and durable peace and stability in the region and in Afghanistan and in Pakistan, that should be our regional top priority. And countries like US and countries like China within the region, responsibility lies more to them as a permanent, because as a permanent security council member, China can address issues linked with the sustainable development goals of Afghanistan and Pakistan and other regional neighboring countries. How can they help each other and bringing back the opportunities and the economy, the trade and investment opportunities in the region? How can we translate all these things together? I think the thing is, together we can solve the problem. The main idea and main theme is together we can address the issues, not alone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Hina Habib. I was just thinking that maybe you will miss something, but thankfully you didn't miss anything.
Thank you.
And I was also counting your ands, and I'm pleased to share that you uttered the word "and" 98 times.
Oh my God. So, thank you.
So that's
as an answer.
that speaks volume about your contribution. You had been thoroughly, like it was joy listening to you, and you contributed very well throughout our session. So take my compliment. Yeah, and you mentioned about very important points. You talked about. Do you want to say?
Sorry. Sorry, yes. Thank you. Such compliments means a lot means a lot for us, people like me and people like Khalil Saab and people like Zamira Sadi or people Musawwir. We are trying to bring something, and we're trying to initiate something. We're trying to learn something. So it's the compliments means a lot. So thank you so much. And you can also criticize. So compliments and criticism both matter a lot.
I won't criticize. Really, you people really did a wonderful job. And only thing I would say that it should be continued. And just as you mentioned that we should be having continuity of policies. So this good thing should be continued in future. That would be my suggestion. And of course, no criticism at all. So moving to our next speaker, if he is with us, Zamir Asadi, if anyone can confirm he's with us. I think
he's not with us. He's not here. We can.
He's not here. Okay, but we do have Mr. Khizr Zaman Saab and Mr. Khizr Zaman Saab. If you're ready, then over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. As usual, I'm ready for this initiative.
Please go ahead.
I would present 5 suggestions here. Number one of that suggestion would be that we have to use modern technology in our industry, and this modern technology initiatives can be achieved through different use of knowledge, know-how, and industrial revolution. I would say that we should learn more about from China in the use of modern technology in industry. For this, I would present here one example of South Korea. That number one of export of South Korea is synthetic oil. And as you know, all of us know that South Korea may not have abundance of resources in production of oil reserves, but what they do normally is that they import oil from Middle Eastern countries, make it synthetic, and then re-export to different countries, including Pakistan. In Pakistan, we are using their brands such as Zik, Kicks, and many others in our automobiles. So these synthetic oils are much more costly than the normal engine oil. So we can observe and we can achieve such goals. I think no Muslim country has been ever producing this synthetic oil. So my second suggestion would be that we need to learn from China about the alleviation of poverty from our societies. Chinese model is very good in this implementing people-centric approach, and we need to learn from them. My third suggestion would be that we need to improve our educational level to applied science research and technology within our country, and for that purpose we need to gain more knowledge from the Chinese people, especially how to implement the educational achievements in our industry. That is the main thing. Implementing project-oriented approach specifically from university to local industry level is much more important. In South Korean universities, then what they normally do, they present a problem to a PhD student that you have to achieve this goal within 1 or 2 years, and then we would evaluate your research so that we can present you a PhD degree, and his PhD degree also gets beneficial for them to achieve a certain problem in the local industry. So education should be collaborated with the our local industry, and use of most modern technology, including ERP, such as SAP, Oracle, and many programs in our government level, so that better coordination could be achieved. My last suggestion would be that we have to lift our BIA to the Qatar, Emirates, and Turkish level to achieve our national goal, and it will help our national interest in the long run. With this, I thank you all.